Chapter 31, Servicing Air Brake Systems. Day 1, Video 13, Brake Adjustments. So when we were talking with the slack adjuster, we talked about the amount of movement that is allowed with from the brake chamber to apply the service brakes. So that's one of the things that we're going to check during a routine inspection of the brakes is that is the brake stroke is what they call it, that it is within the maximum, but within the maximum limits of the amount of brake stroke before it becomes out of service. There's a couple different ways we can easily indicate what that brake stroke is. Some of the brake chambers on the rod, as it passes through the end of the brake chamber, they will have painted on the brake rod, green, some green paint on there, that if you make a brake application, a full service brake application, it extends out and you still see that green paint, you are green for good. If it travels too far, the brakes are out of adjustment, and now you see the red or the bright orange paint, that means that brake chamber is extended out too far and it's no longer within specification. Right, so that's one way to indicate that brake stroke. You can crawl under there with a tape measure and measure the amount of stroke that it's got. There's another like little clip-on plastic ring that will go onto that the push rod, and you push it up against the surface of the brake chamber, make a full brake application that will extend out and gives you a very convenient spot to measure that brake stroke from. So a couple of different ways to do that. So we want to make sure that we are within specifications of brake stroke, and that depends on the size of the brake chamber. Slack adjusters. So we've got automatic slack adjusters that compensate for the wearing away of the brake shoes. We've got the stroke sensing. What happens there as the brakes are applied, so much motion of that slack adjuster happens, and then if it extends out so far, the ratcheting action inside that automatic adjuster will click and grab another tooth and compensate for the amount of wear. So there's some that sense clearance sensing, and some are stroke sensing. So some of that just depends on just how the manufacturer designed that slack adjuster. All of them, if they're operating properly, you only adjust them once, and that's when you install them, or you've replaced the brake shoes and adjust them up so that they're at the proper brake stroke.